Welcome to the French Wedding Podcast with your host Naïm, the only podcast in English about weddings in France. Great conversations, tips and insights about your French wedding, some wisdom before your big day, and the opportunity to hear wedding professionals actually living and working in France, only for your day to be the most amazing to remember.
Hello everyone and welcome to the French Wedding Podcast. Greetings from France. This is the place where we're recording this show. I'm Naïm, professional ceremony officiant based in my hometown Paris, and I created this show especially for future brides and grooms willing to get married in Paris or anywhere in France. Each episode is an occasion to meet a main actor of the industry, can be a vendor such as a wedding planner, hair and makeup artists, bridal salon, videographer, venue owner, bloggers, you name it. This show exists to bring you some insight about how people do things in France regarding the wedding industry, but we also share funny stories, things to know, and special memories when we happen to work together on the very same wedding. Today is a special episode again as I have a returning guest, Katerina Meyvial, who jumped in to come back and talk about elopements in Paris. For those who don't know her, Katerina is a wedding planner based in Paris. She has been planning wedding and elopements here since 2016. She's been working with an international clientele of couples from all over the world. Besides that, Katerina is also a wife, mom, and champagne lover. So take a step back, relax, and welcome back Katerina on the French Wedding Podcast. Katerina, welcome back to the show.
Hello. Happy to be back.
This is a second episode of a series of, I don't really know how many episodes we're going to spend together, but this is the second one and I'm very happy to see you again. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very happy to be back here and to talk about weddings and elopements in Paris.
Yeah, well, today the idea that we had is talking about the elopement. So what is an elopement, first of all?
An elopement is a very special concept that does not really exist in other parts of the world.
Exactly, that's a good definition to start.
Except like in the United States and the United Kingdom, and perhaps Russia as well now.
For sure.
So elopement is a very tiny, intimate event where either it's just a couple only who runs away from their families, from their friends, from their daily routines, and they just enjoy the celebration just for two of them. Or elopements could also be planned with a small group of friends, like up to 10 people, I would say.
Yeah.
So yeah, elopements are super popular in Paris because obviously like you have iconic locations here. Paris is a beautiful city. It's a city of all lovers of the world. So it's not surprised that there are so many couples that want to elope that choose Paris to do so.
They do that. Usually there's many reasons why people choose to elope in Paris. They, like you were saying, sometimes run away from their family because like it's a dramatic experience. Like, oh my God, they don't want us to get married. My love, I love you. We're going to Paris. This could be as dramatic as this.
I think it's not really happening anymore. No, often like my couples, often when they do elopements, it's either they just do not want to spend so much money on like a traditional wedding, because when you start to calculate and adding things up, you just realize you kind of have to throw like 100 plus guests events, which would probably cost you something around $200,000. So it's crazy amount of money, and you not necessarily want to leave that experience, especially for those couples for whom it's a second marriage. Many people decide to elope and combine their romantic experience with a honeymoon. So that could be a good idea if you want to have a romantic experience without too much of a hassle, without any other people, just two of you. If you were always dreaming about Paris, that could be a nice occasion to have your romantic celebration here. I know some of my grooms were actually proposing in Paris.
Oh, yeah.
So when the question was, okay, where are we going to get married? Paris became kind of like an obvious answer to a question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you have like introduction, people who are contacting you for proposal, little event,
That
and
could happen
suddenly
as well,
that could go up into the next step, which is an elopement.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So yeah, that's the good thing. Paris is really amazing city to make to organize a romantic celebration. There are various ways to do that. As with the traditional weddings, you can have a religious ceremony, or you can have a symbolic ceremony with a celebrant or with your planner. So both options are available depending on what your preferences are. And one of the most popular thing to do when you decide to elope to Paris is to organize an early morning photo shoot on Trocadero Square, which
the
is like
big theme.
Exactly, that's the iconic location in Paris, which is like a square right next to, like right opposite on the other side of the Seine River from the Eiffel Tower. So you have the amazing view on the tower and you get amazing photos. So if you've been looking for elopements in Paris on Instagram, you have probably seen all these like thousands and thousands of beautiful pictures with girls wearing splendid wedding dresses and having this iconic backdrop with the Eiffel Tower. So yeah, those kind of events are very popular. I'm not quite fan of them because even though you get amazing pictures, we live in a world where Instagram is a king.
Sadly, yeah,
Sadly,
that's the way it
yes.
is.
There are things that you don't see on Instagram when you look at these pictures because basically you kind of think, oh, Paris is just for us. We are the only two people in Paris so early in the morning, which is wrong.
It's
because
wrong.
What you don't see on these pictures on Instagram is that there are approximately 10 other couples next to you doing
Sometimes
exactly the same thing. So the intimacy of the moment is kind of disappearing when you realize that, no, you're not on your own. You were not the only one who had this great idea.
That's kind of sad, but it's also true. You can have, to counteract a little bit on that, you can have your elopement in a very, very intimate, non-touristic place, such as Montmartre, for example.
Exactly.
I mean, Montmartre is probably one of the top spots for the tourists, but there is plenty of little streets and little very typical places in Paris that you can really find through a wedding planner or anyone involved in the business, and there you won't have any other copycats.
That's true, but at the same time, those tiny little streets would not have an Eiffel Tower view most of the time.
I agree with that.
So yeah, there are pros and cons to this solution. Definitely, like it's advantageous for you if you have a limited budget, and if the main thing that you're looking for from this event, from this elopement, is our beautiful photos. If this is your main target, if this is the main goal of this celebration for you, definitely having an early morning photo shoot with like a small ceremony before that is a great idea. But if you're looking for like a real authentic experience, like a lifetime experience, I would recommend you to invest more in order to plan an event where you would be the boss of your event. I would really recommend having a private venue for your vows exchange celebration. And for at least the beginning of your photo shoot, and perhaps also for like a small celebration, like with a sweet table and champagne and things like that. The
little details.
Exactly, because after all, having beautiful photos is amazing, but what you're looking for is also the experience itself. And if it's just like an elopement and not a big wedding, you still want to have like an experience to remember. You don't travel so far. You don't travel to Paris just to take photos because everyone can do that. You also want something very unique, very Parisian, a true experience to remember and to share with your loved one. So I think, it's definitely a good idea to invest and to plan an event that would be much more intimate, much more elegant, and much more you. The problem with the places like Trocadero Square or any other iconic locations is that you cannot install any decoration there. You cannot have a sweet table. You cannot have like a sweet moment for you too. You have to be walking and displacing constantly. I know there are some photos you can see online. Actually, I did some photos like that as well. where you have like a sweet tables that being installed like in some lovely spots with lovely views, etc. What you don't see on these photos is that those places look pretty on photos, but they do not necessarily feel and look pretty in real life.
Exactly, which is the Instagram rule anyway.
Exactly. So you have to be aware that Instagram is not the reality.
Right.
So you have to bear that in mind. Once again, what's the most important thing when you plan your elopement or your wedding abroad? You have to make informative decisions.
One of the easy way to, for example, counteract touristic place and the fact that there is other couple is simply to go early. I always try to tell my couples who are doing elopements in a very touristic place such as Trocadero, let's go at when the sun is rising, 10 or 15 minutes after the sun rise. Usually it's not that busy. You can find
there's
other
still at
people.
least 10 couples.
Always.
There will still at least be like 10 couples around you doing the same thing. Like, to be honest with you, I have stopped doing these kind of ceremonies because I do not feel that this is the experience I want to share with my clients, with my couples. Most of the time, what I would recommend is that getting a private space. It could be a hotel with a terrace, with a view on the Eiffel Tower. You will have exactly the same quality of images. You will have this iconic backdrop. You will have the amazing view. You will get amazing photos, with the exception that there will be no random drunk guy walking past you, screaming and shouting.
That can happen, yeah.
We all had these kind of experiences. We all had elopements where couples were reading their vows, and there were just someone random walking past and shouting something. Maybe he was happy and he was cheering for the bride and groom, but you don't really want to have to hear these weird voices, especially if you have a video, not only photo. The moment will be spoiled, like it could be spoiled if you do not give yourself all the chances to make it as private as you can. So what I will always recommend is getting a pretty hotel with a pretty terrace where you can first have your vows exchange ceremony, where you can have any decor you want, because even if it's elopement is still a small wedding. It's a small, pretty wedding.
Very small.
So you can invest in a beautiful decoration, so that you have a beautiful setup, so that this moment is very magical. It's a real experience. It's not just like you come to like to a place where anyone else can come at the same time with you. You come to a private place where everything is set up just for you. It's just for your experience. This is absolutely unique.
That makes a difference. I agree with that.
Exactly. And there are quite a few like secret locations that are not quite really known, neither by international clientele nor even by like local people. So if you plan to have an elopement with so special events, I will be more than happy to share my secret location list to make your ceremony very unique and very special, and to give you the access to the beautiful view, amazing backdrop without any random negative things around you.
That's good. That's very good to know. When you were talking about the intimate view on the roof, suddenly I had the Shangri-La hotel in mind.
Yes.
What do you think about this place? Do you like it?
Well, those like the Shangri-La is the hotel monster in a way that they are super famous, and most of the time you will see photos from like when a couple has like an elopement in a private place. Most of the time you will see photos from Shangri-La, because they are situated right next to the Eiffel Tower. They have got like loads of rooms with balconies and with a pretty view. So the hotel is amazing. It's a splendid place. It's a palace, actually. It's not even a 5-star hotel. It's a palace. It has recently been renovated, and the place is very good. I really love Shangri-La. I love working there. But what you need to know, that's not the only place. So there are many other small boutique hotels that would be more intimate, but that would still be able to offer you the quality of service and of the experience without being as famous as Shangri-La.
And still entering into an elopement budget.
Definitely. In terms of the budget, like if you are looking for like a simple photo shoot, like with a small ceremony, like makeup, photography, and a bouquet, I would probably estimate that to around 2,000 euros as a global budget to make it like nice and pretty. If you want something like a more extraordinary, more elegant, I would recommend budgeting around 6,000 euros.
Okay.
Knowing that would include one night of accommodation for you as well in a 5-star or even palace property.
Which is something that you recommend, right?
Definitely. This is the type of events I mostly organize, because elopement is a small wedding. You have to, like, in my opinion, you have to invest. You have to treat it in the same way.
Right.
So I love sharing a beautiful, authentic Parisian experience. I love sharing what is the best in Paris, be it champagne, champagne, be it patisserie.
Champagne lover. I've seen that on your website.
I'm a huge champagne lover, and
we all are.
and I'm happy to share
Good.
my good addresses, my favorite brands and everything. So yes, I love sharing the experiences, and the experience I want to provide to my couples is not the experience what you can get at 6 o'clock in the morning on the Trocadero Square, because there's a preparation. You have to spend at least 2 hours, sometimes 2 hours and a half, to get your makeup done, to get your hair done. So you kind of have to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, early bird.
Exactly. You have to wake up your fiance at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is sometimes difficult as well. So yeah, it's not the way how I would envision the perfect day of my couples. Waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, doing a makeup in like a half dark room of the hotel with your husband probably still sleeping next to you, unless you have a suite with a separate rooms for getting ready. And so yes, this is not the experience I prefer to give my couples. I want you guys to enjoy Paris in a laid-back atmosphere, without any pressure, without being tired, without being sleepy, without forcing yourself to drink champagne at 6 o'clock in the morning because you've just actually exchanged your vows, so you kind of feel like you have to drink champagne, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning. So you are
Breakfast
kind of feeling more coffee than champagne. So this is why I really, really recommend.
Right. So yeah, having much more than this is okay. That's a simple ceremony, but you are able to, even if it's a small one, to take care of the guests' needs and provide all the details that will make it actually bigger in their memories.
Definitely, exactly. And this is what I love doing, is creating unique Parisian experiences rather than just taking you to a place where you can get beautiful photos.
Nice. So what would the couple expect? That will contact you first, and then you will, I guess, guide them through the steps. What are the steps?
These steps,
for an elopement.
when you plan your elopement, first of all, you should have an idea of the period. Once again, that could be a weekend, that could be a weekday. I think for an elopement, it will be more interesting to have it on a weekday, especially during the high season, because all the vendors would probably be busy during weekends because they have got like bigger events. So if you're flexible on dates, definitely having your event on a weekday would be more interesting. First, you will probably be able to negotiate rates.
Okay.
But what's the most important, that you will have a larger pool of vendors available for you to cover your event. So the first thing to do would be to get in touch with your planner, to share your needs, to share your wishes, to share your ideas, and to tell the person about the dates, the approximate period of time you are looking for. I guess that the best period would be probably July, August, September. Those months are normally warmer and sunnier.
Right. Yeah.
Whilst June can still be a bit rainy.
Yeah.
But the weather is unpredictable. That's not something you can really anticipate. So yeah, once you decided once you've chosen your planner, once you've chosen your date, you would probably start looking for the perfect venue. So as I've told you, that could be either a hotel with a terrace or with a panoramic view. That could also be a chateau. Some chateau in
outside Paris.
Outside Paris,
right.
Yes. Some castles offer you an elopement package that would include the rental for several hours, where you can have your ceremony, where you can install whichever decor you prefer. If you want like a floral arch, if you want to have like a sweet table, if you want to have something elegant, sophisticated, and pretty, everything could be done. So yes, you can have like a mini tiny wedding with all the setup, with all the backdrop. You can also have like an intimate dinner for two, or candles with champagne with a private service. It could be done either before or after your photo shoot. So you can also have a car rides around Paris. You can have a private boat tour in Paris. You can have, I don't know.
Is there something that they cannot have,
no,
Katerina?
Everything is possible.
That's pretty good. Actually, the elopement by itself is kind of just a ceremony, but what I think is really good about what you're proposing to the clients is enhancing the experience to a dinner for two, candlelight dinner. Who can say no to this?
Exactly, especially
car
when you're in
ride.
Paris.
Car ride in limousine with some champagne in there. Like, why would you not do that when once you're in Paris?
Exactly.
You have to.
This is why I really recommend treating this elopement as like a very unique and special moment for you to live and to remember. because this is the day you will never forget. Of course, it's super important to pronounce your vows because it's a super strong emotional moment, because this is probably one of the rarest moments in life when you tell your partner about your feelings in a beautiful manner.
Yeah.
After when you are married, say, oh, I love you. Oh, I love you too. Oh, good night. So this I love you phrase, it's not perceived in the same moment, in the same way, sorry.
Yeah.
So yes, having an elopement and having beautiful vows, saying what you're feeling and why this person is so special to you. This is so super important. This is actually why I love symbolic ceremonies more than I do like religious ceremonies, because they're so much more personalized. They're so much more intimate.
That's true.
Yeah. So once you did that, I think you definitely need to have the follow-up experience to live together and to share together.
Do you have sometimes people who are proposing and then they are like, oh, okay, well then we're going to book the elopement with you or book the wedding with you because we want to do it in Paris?
Never happened to me.
No?
Never happened to me for the moment. I did proposals as well. But once again, proposals, I treat them as an elopement in a way. I love when it's private. I love when it's worked well through. I love when you have all the necessary setup, and it's really special when you just do not propose in front of everyone. It's really personal. Like, all women are different. We all expect the perfect proposal to be done in different ways.
Yeah.
Some people, like some women, would love to have a photographer at this moment. Some women don't mind. Women or men, there actually. Some people don't mind having people around them at this moment. Some people don't mind being in a restaurant at this moment.
Yeah. The public exposure sometimes can be a problem.
Exactly. Well, it depends. Like, some people love it. And I think, once again, like with Instagram culture, we overestimate the necessity of having a photographer at this moment. Because women, after all, we will always be women. We think about how do we look like, and if we get too emotional, we don't want to be ugly on photos. So you're kind of getting distracted on photos instead of living the moment. So I think having like for me, but it's really personal, the perfect proposal would not have a photographer there.
I agree 100% with that. I was just looking at the other day on Instagram, which is a platform that I really love. It's great for promotion but I was looking at a video of a proposal in the restaurant of the Eiffel Tower.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have seen it recently. It was on top of every hashtag.
Yes?
Yeah, of course. She had no choice.
Okay.
It was grabbed by probably a waiter or a manager of the restaurant who was involved.
Okay.
And the camera was really close from the table and the windows. And I mean, this guy was probably an American guy, was amazingly like charming and everything. He did everything right. And yeah, she said yes, but will she remember the video? Will she like it? I don't know. I think so. But like what you were saying, this can be sometimes like a problem of public exposure, or like, oh my God, I was crying and everybody's going to see this and that. So yeah, when you say no photograph, I really believe that you're right, because the moment is your moment.
Exactly. You cannot expose all your life and all your happy moments. 100%. There are some moments that should stay private. Yeah. But once again, that's the personal choice of every couple. So before you plan your perfect proposal, be it in Paris or anywhere else, have a think and perhaps like ask your partner kind of like a couple of questions to see.
It's better to know your partner.
Exactly. If that's the way your partner envision it. But it's quite difficult because you have to stay discreet at the same time.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes it's really complicated to set up all the details and find the right moment. But yeah, Paris is definitely a good place for a proposal.
Paris is definitely a good place for all the celebration, be it a proposal, be it an elopement, be it a full wedding with guests. Or just an anniversary. Like, Paris is a good place for any kind of celebration if you're looking for something sophisticated, for something elegant, for something unique and beautiful.
That's perfectly true. There's nothing to add. I think we can wrap up for this episode. Just one thing that I wanted to say is your website is So Special Events.
Yes,
right?
My website is called sospecialevents.com. And for you guys today, if you are listening to this podcast, and if you're planning your elopement in Paris, I'm happy to offer you 10% off on my regular rate. So get in touch, send me an email, or contact me via the contact form, which is on my website, so specialevents.com.
Beautiful website, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Like it.
And I will be happy to plan your perfect Parisian elopement for you.
Perfect. That's also So Special Events, all small letters on Instagram, which is a
So
great...
Special Events Paris.
Oh, So Special Events Paris.
Yes.
I'm sorry. There you
No
go.
worries.
I needed some Paris help here. And we're going to wrap up this episode and see you later. Thank you so much.
See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks again for listening to the show today. You can find more information on our guests in the show notes, as well as my contact and my website. If you have any questions regarding your French wedding, I'm happy to help. Also, please do not hesitate to leave a review for the show. There's also a link for that. That will literally take 1 minute of your precious time and will mean the world to me. I always appreciate your support. Thank you again very much for your time and feedback. Wishing you a great day or a great night anywhere you are in the world. I send you some good vibrations and we'll talk to you again soon for a new episode. Bye bye.